Hello there and welcome once again to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. We're here every week meeting interesting people and dealing with topical issues, and not much is more topical in August than baseball.
Take me out to the ball game.
Today.
Today we're going to do that. We're going to be visiting with Michael Byrnes, the executive director of or executive vice president of the Oklahoma City RedHawks. He is the boss man out there. He's been on last year with us, and we asked him to come back this year, fill us in on what's going on with our home team, the RedHawks.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people think it'd be fun to be involved in minor league baseball, or it'd be fun to own a team. I tell you, it's not for amateurs. I mean, if you're going to be in the minor league baseball business, you better know what you're doing, and Oklahoma City is very fortunate to have a great ownership group and a great executive staff. Michael is one of them, and we'll meet him when we come back on The Verdict.
Yeah, I was involved in mine.
My path is different from the prototypical receivers.
The namesake himself, Mr. Welker. Not recruited out of high school, not drafted into the NFL.
I'm not the fastest guy. I'm not that big.
He's the model of perseverance. He finds a way to make a way.
So let's have some fun today, huh? We're gonna play hard, we're gonna play tough.
He focuses on the kids that are not quite as fortunate as everyone else.
Way to go, Taylor.
The Boys and Girls Clubs, the Youth Football League.
80% of them are from single-parent home, so they hear a lot of negative stuff every day.
I think the coolest thing for us has been put in this weight room right here at Douglas.
It's made our kids want to be involved more and more.
Seeing them have losing seasons year after year. Next year, they win state.
For a company like Chesapeake to recognize the mission of the Wes Welker Foundation, it tells me that they're committed to helping people.
My greatest hope and dream for these kids to go out and conquer everything they want. Hopefully we can push them in the right direction.
If you need big accounting firm expertise but aren't happy with the value or level of partner engagement from your current national firm, contact Hogan Taylor. Hogan Taylor provides national-level public accounting expertise with high-touch, local partner service in all areas of tax, audit, business valuation, and litigation support. Contact us at hogantaylor.com/The Verdict. Hogan Taylor, big enough to know, small enough to care.
Hello there and welcome once again to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
Today we're really pleased to welcome back to the set of The Verdict Michael Byrnes, and I'm going to right now take the opportunity to promote him to the title of President and General Manager of the RedHawks, notwithstanding anything I might have said in the prior segment. He is the President and General Manager of the RedHawks. He did his undergraduate work at St. Mary's College, and he was affiliated a number of years with Frisco, Texas, the AA farm club at that time of the Texas Rangers, and was there a number of years. He then joined in 2002 Mandalay Baseball Properties, which brought him to Oklahoma City. He is an award-winning baseball executive, having won a number of honors in the profession. And this is his, as I said, his second visit to The Verdict. We want to find out all about the RedHawks. What's going on with them?
Thank you for the promotion, first of all.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll just take 10% of the
That's fair.
salary.
That's fair.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's get right to the heart of this season. How is the team playing on the field before we kind of get to the nuts and bolts behind the scenes?
The team has played really well all season long. A dramatic turnaround over last season. We had 3 players go to the All-Star game this year, and they were recognized. One of them, Mike Hessman, is hitting home runs like crazy. He's actually the all-time minor league home run hitter, so he's got close to 30 home runs for the RedHawks this year, so he's been playing really well. Team's well over 500, and so it's been great to see winning ball being played at the ballpark.
And how's attendance been?
It's been great. It's up over last year, and we use kind of some simple metrics in how we're measuring it. Last season, all season long, we had about 8 sellouts. We already have 9 at the midway point this year, so we'll probably have 12, 13 in that range. Great response from the community, and we enjoy opening the gates and having everyone come out to the ballpark all summer long.
Well, you're going to have some playoff baseball, I suspect, will you not?
There's a good chance, yeah. They've been in and out of first place, back and forth, first place, second place, battling with the Albuquerque Isotopes, the Dodgers affiliate, most of the season. So Albuquerque comes to town, our last homestand, so I think maybe decided right there on the field here in Oklahoma City.
I get mixed opinions when I ask this question. In minor league baseball, is it more work in the off season or during the season?
The hours are longer during the season, but there's actually more work in the off season. It's when all the preparation is being done, and kind of build the plan, work the plan. So during the off season is really when working with all the relationships and making sure all of our season ticket holders are coming back, and building our corporate partners base, and preparing to open the gates.
So from a business model standpoint, how do you improve from one season to the next? Where are the metrics that you try to focus?
The 2 key areas on the revenue side would be our ticketing. So how are we growing, whether it's our season tickets or our group tickets, which an example of that was 2010, about 39,000 group tickets sold. In 2011, that was up to 70,000. We're going to eclipse 90,000 group tickets this year.
Wow.
Now, what's a group ticket?
It would be any organization, any group 10 or more that comes out to the ballpark. So they'll get, they get a ball cap as part of their ticket purchase, and so it could be a small Kiwanis or Rotary Club, or it could be a business celebrating an anniversary or doing a summer outing. And last week alone, we had 1,000 people come out.
A host on the verdict celebrating his wife's birthday.
It could be that, exactly.
Which we did last year on July 5 at the RedHawks ballpark, Amanda's birthday, and we had a big family group, and they just treated us like royalty. It really was a fun experience beyond what went on the field. Really well done.
Well, the fans have such a good time at minor league baseball, and I always am impressed by the different level of fanaticism based on the fans, because there are people there that are watching every pitch and living and dying on the outcome of the game.
Right.
Then there's a lot of people that couldn't even tell you who won when it's over. They're just out to enjoy a baseball game for all the right reasons. And so from a marketing standpoint, it must be hard to kind of figure out who your target audience is, because in a sense, it's everybody. Everybody is a potential customer for a minor league baseball game.
You're right. We always say, kind of internally, we market to families, and when you're done marketing to families, market to families some more. And I believe it's tough to find a movie that grandpa, dad, and the grandson all want to see at the same time.
Great example.
But a ball game, you're going to have, maybe dad and grandpa are really paying attention to what's going on the field, and the 10-year-old grandson might be watching what's going on between innings and seeing the skits and some of those types of things, and hopefully developing a love for the game,
right.
Which is one of my favorite things. When I see adults teaching children how to score a game, that lost art, I know that the team's having an impact on their family.
Do minor league teams share information in the off season? In other words, if you've kind of come up with an idea that seemed to work for you, are you likely to tell the people in Albuquerque about it, or is that sort of something you want to keep in house?
The Pacific Coast League actually does a really great job of communication amongst the organizations themselves. So mid-season, during the All-Star break, the general managers and presidents get together and do some best practices, and then we'll take a trip shortly after the season ends and spend 2 days sharing best practices of what happened during the season. We'll also get together one more time at the winter meetings, typically in early December. So at each of those meetings, we try to make sure that things that worked well for the teams, we're all in different markets, so we're collectively trying to improve minor league baseball as a whole, and so it only makes sense that we share some of the things that work. Market to market, sometimes things are going to be a little different. You might have to massage an idea, but the Pacific Coast League itself follows a model like the NBA, where they have people that work in there. It's their team business operations group that shares these ideas team to team, and so we try to do that as peers as frequently as we can.
Let me ask you, you've now been affiliated with at least 2 major league franchises that I'm aware of, the Rangers and the Astros now.
That's right.
Are there striking differences between how those organizations interface with the AAA ball club?
Yeah, my experience may be a little different than most, because when I was with the Rangers, I was really in the Rangers' backyard. being in Frisco, we were 45 minutes away. So to see the likes of John Daniels or Nolan Ryan come over to the ballpark in Frisco was not that uncommon. So we had much more interaction with them. With the Astros, they've done a really great job. Fred Nelson is kind of our key contact, player development director. So he's in constant communication with us. And then around the 4th of July, we had a couple games where Jeff Luhnow came, and the new general manager of the Astros. He wanted to come see the ballpark in action and see some of those players firsthand. So to hear from him, kind of his vision and what he wanted, which the big message from him is winning and development can happen together. And some organizations just want to win, some organizations just want to develop. He believes they have to happen together. And so far he's made an impact this year with the team, not just in AAA in Oklahoma City, but each one of the levels is performing much better than they did last year.
All of the players that come into Oklahoma City, with few exceptions, maybe one every few years, they're living in Oklahoma City. Their homes are somewhere else. They grew up most likely somewhere else. Yet you want to make them feel at home during the summer while they're here. What does the organization do to try and help these guys feel acclimated to whatever city they happen to be playing in?
You know, one of our off-season tasks is to try to put as much information together for them so when they go to spring training in Florida, we have information that's waiting for them when they arrive. And it'll give them simple stuff on, you know, they have about 3 days when they arrive in Oklahoma City to find a place to live. So we want to make that really simple with lots of options. And then, of course, just some of the creature comforts about getting acclimated to the city. When you have some veteran players that return, it really helps when their wives or girlfriends, they will actually help some of the players acclimate and some of their significant others as well. But we really try to mix the front office family, if you will, with the on-field family and try to welcome them as best we can and make it as simple as possible for the 5 months they're going to be here.
Do they typically have cars? Do they buy cars, rent cars? What do they do?
You have maybe about half and half. Some of them will drive their vehicles here from spring training. About half the team will just try to find a place in and around Bricktown in our instance, which is great for them because there's lots of options. And they'll walk, or they get the roommate to drive them around. So you get a mixture of both. And the interesting thing is, you know, there'll be times where we may have a call up during a road trip, for example. Well, that player's car is still sitting in our parking lot. And so one of the rules when they leave town, they have to leave the keys with the clubhouse manager because there may be a need to get his car to Houston or Corpus Christi at AA, whatever it may be.
Yeah, we hope it goes one way instead of the
Yes,
other.
yep.
We're about out of time, but just very briefly for this segment, just briefly give us an overview of your staff. How many folks you got working there?
Sure. We have a full-time staff of 32 folks, and really about half of that will land on the sales and marketing side. Our operations staff, which many veteran folks on that side, you know, Monty McCoy, our groundskeeper, has been with the organization 16 years, for example. So it's great to have folks that know the ins and outs. But in season, between ticket takers and ushers and those types of folks, and then our concession side, you know, you're adding another 150 to 200 folks at any given time to help get the ballpark operating on a game night.
Michael Byrnes is our guest. He's with the Oklahoma RedHawks. We'll be right back. You're watching The Verdict.
The thing that has made the most sense for me is realizing that I am still an educator, and that is what I do at the Chickasaw Nation. I'm Dr. Amanda Cobb-Greetham. I'm a historian, and I'm Chickasaw. The Chickasaw Cultural Center is amazing. It is a very, very special place devoted to the sharing and to the celebration of Chickasaw history and culture. State-of-the-art technology, exhibits that are not like anything I've ever seen. The Spirit Forest is incredible, and you feel as if you have actually just walked into a forest with huge trees all around you. It's timeless, and yet it's sort of also representative of our time depth, to really just sort of reach through time and touch the past. By the end of the exhibits, you really have a sense of Chickasaw cultural and political resurgence, and the extent to which we are a healthy, dynamic, and vital tribe today. Chickasaws have always been an inclusive people. This is something for the whole community and for the state of Oklahoma.
I don't want to hope for the best. I want to become it.
I want you to see my potential.
Because I can be more than average. I can be amazing.
Because I know the hard way
and the right way
are one and the same.
I will make you proud
and surpass even my own expectations.
I will lead.
I will lead.
I will lead America's energy future.
Oklahoma's oil and natural gas industry. Proud to equip Oklahoma students for greatness.
When you have something important to communicate, it becomes clear that there's a lot of competition for your audience's attention. So how can your message stand out and actually resonate with your audience? Legal Graphics has the answers. The team at Legal Graphics will work with you to plan, design, and even test your presentation to ensure your message will be heard and remembered. Call Legal Graphics today to schedule an appointment. The readiness is all.
There's nothing in the ballpark.
Welcome back to the set of the verdict. We're visiting with Michael Byrnes of the Oklahoma RedHawks, and we're talking about minor league baseball. Facilities in this state are pretty good. If you look at Tulsa's professional stadium and you look at Oklahoma City Stadium, they're amongst the best in anywhere.
They definitely are. And it was surprising this year when it kind of dawned on us that our ballpark's 15 years old. It's in great shape. It's been maintained very well. And it still is in that discussion of best ballparks in the minor leagues. Tulsa has a great facility. I've had the chance to go up there and see that. So it helps, and it makes it attractive to the parent organizations when you have good facilities.
My experience has been rather attenuated from baseball, but my understanding is that a good number of the players at the AAA level are on their way down. They've played perhaps in the majors and they're on their way out, and vice versa, a good number are on their way up. I presume that's true at this year's team.
Yes, you do get that, and you may have some, sometimes I think in the locker room they refer to them as 4A players, guys that are just on the cusp, and maybe have played a couple times in the big leagues, and it's probably one of the most challenging jobs for a manager is to manage both of those different sets of egos, really.
Yeah.
Some that are they know they're the prospect and they know they're a year away, while other guys they're just hanging on. They've got a couple fingernails left on their last chance to be a major leaguer. So it makes for an interesting locker room.
What is a major league team looking for out of a AAA affiliate? If they were going to make a list, this is what's important to us, what would be on that list?
I think the facilities is certainly one of the things that's at the top of the list. They want to make sure that, my understanding is an organization, they like the players to feel like they're professionals at every step of the way. So even down in single A, they want them to play in great facilities because that's part of understanding how to be a big league player. And then they needed a front office staff, the full-time staff that interacts well and takes care of their players. It's a unique scenario in that the Astros employ these players and the front office staff, and meanwhile our staff operates the building and does all the sales and marketing, but we need each other in order to survive. And so there needs to be a comfort level with how those two organizations mesh. And I think those are two of the things that stand out. And then I think location and proximity to the big league club. They need to be able to get that player that needs to make a quick, the pitcher that has to start in tonight's game. He's got to be accessible. He's got to be able to get to Houston in this instance pretty quickly. But they want him to be in a market that appreciates the ball players, loves baseball, and is going to support the team.
Now, when you were at Round Rock with the Rangers AA club, how did that quality of baseball compare to the AAA ball you're seeing now? And how did attendance compare between the AA level and the AAA level?
On the field, AA is really where you start to weed out the guys that are going to make it and the ones that can't. And whether it's the pitcher that's finally learning that third pitch or the hitter that can really has to master hitting that curveball or the off-speed pitch. So there's a mix of development that's still occurring at that level, but there's a lot of talent that's there. And many times you'll see a player that may go from one year to the next, AA to the big leagues. In AAA, you're seeing a guy that may next week be in the big leagues, and because they need to go make a spot start or they need to fill in at third base, whatever it may be. So I think the competition level is a little bit higher. You have some veteran guys that understand how to play and how to be a professional. They're teaching the younger guys some of those things. As far as attendance goes, market to market, you'll see different things. Frisco, there's a very great fan base there. And so they're supported very well. Oklahoma City has really supported this team very well for years. And so I think there's some similarities there. There are some AA and AAA markets that don't have the fan bases that we're lucky to have in Oklahoma City. So we're thankful for that.
Let me ask you a question I already know the answer to because I asked you off camera. But if a player gets a notice out of the blue, I'm going to be going to Oklahoma City, knowing what the rumor mill is about various locations, is a player going to be saying, assuming he's on his way up, that's a good thing, I'm glad about that, or is he going to say, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City is attractive to these players. They want to play here. And we've had some folks that have come through, whether they played in other organizations or typically that's what it was, and they're opponents now, and they love coming back to the city. They love the environment in Bricktown. They love the fans and the support the team gets. So it's definitely it's a positive thing to hear that you're going to be sent to Oklahoma City.
How long does the season last? I want to make sure people understand that the weeks are running out here if they want to get out and catch a game this year.
They are running out. We've played quite a few games in our season, but we'll play through Labor Day. So we'll have a game on Monday of Labor Day. That'll be the last game of the season, unless we make the playoffs, like Kent mentioned.
And what is the playoff structure?
There's 2 rounds. So it's a 4-team league. So we would play the winner of the American Southern, and then if we advance past that, then there's one final round of games. So they want to have the playoffs over by about mid-September, September 15th, 16th, so there can be some of those last-minute call-ups to the big leagues and get some of those players continuing to experience what it's like up there.
And this year's team is winning more games than last year's. What's been the difference? What have you noticed that's caused the improvement?
I think there's a couple things that stand out to me. I think the manager, Tony DeFrancesco, is a veteran of AAA. He spent 8 seasons in Sacramento, AAA for the Oakland A's. And I think he was new to the organization last year. This year, he's got a better, he's a better group of guys in the room, I think. He has a couple players that have played with him in the past, so they understand his expectations. And I think that helps control the locker room a little bit when you have players peer-to-peer doing some instruction rather than the manager. And then Jeff Lunau in Houston made a decision, as I referenced before, that he wants to win as well as develop his talent. And so made some off-season acquisitions, made some tough decisions on some of the players that had been here last year, because winning is part of being a professional as well. And so he wanted that to be part of the experience here.
You know, Kent doesn't have his resume, but he was a bat boy for the 1953 Oklahoma City Indians.
I can get it if we want to take a little break.
So tell us about that experience.
Well, that was quite a wonderful experience. It was a high-paying job as a 14-year-old, $2 a game, $3 for a doubleheader, and had a wonderful time. I learned an awful lot about baseball. I learned a brand new vocabulary that I didn't dare repeat when I went home. It was just incredible. I got to go on a couple of road trips with the ball players, and the older, more seasoned players would kind of take care of me and take me to a movie where the younger players were kind of running amok wherever they were.
You know, back then with just 16 major league teams, the AAA teams would be major leaguers today.
Yes.
Yeah, so
and we had some pretty darn good players coming through Oklahoma City, if not playing on Oklahoma City. Bobby Bragan, Danny Ozark, Ryan Duran, the list goes on and on of former very good players. But it was quite an experience for a youngster. I've not forgotten it, and I've always been appreciative of it.
All right, well, if you need a bat boy.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Your family was getting along pretty well, getting acclimated last year when you were on.
That's right.
They've now had another year. How are they holding up?
We're doing very well. I appreciate you asking. We're settled in. We're able to buy a house and really settle in the off season. We actually unpacked some boxes, so that was good. I have some family. My brother lives in town, so we're able to see him and his kids, which is always fun to be able to visit the niece and nephew. So we're doing great.
All right. Michael Byrnes with the Oklahoma RedHawks. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Get out and support minor league baseball in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Kent and I'll have a final word when we get back.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. a place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information. And for almost 30 years, Oklahoma political, government, and business leaders have turned to the McCarville Report for accurate, reliable, inside information. Visit the McCarville Report online.
Hello there, and welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers. We're wrapping up a show with Michael Byrnes with the Oklahoma RedHawks.
Yeah, Michael's doing a grand job with the RedHawks. Keeps the organization running in just an exceptional fashion. You have to go out and experience it, go out and deal with his staff and see how friendly and accommodating everybody is, and what a nice time they make that experience for you and your family. So I'd encourage our viewers to try that in the 20 or so games we have left.
And let's talk about next week's show quickly. Dick Sorgel and Russell Perry coming in.
Yes, we're going to, speaking of older events, we're going to harken back to 1955 and replay the game of Douglas High School versus Capitol Hill High School, the first desegregated game played in Oklahoma City.
Ought to be an interesting show. For Kent Myers, I'm Mick Cornett. We will see you next week right here on The Verdict.
The preceding program was produced exclusively for the Cox Channel.